Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm back with another brand new Azure video. In this video we are going to learn the followings. Before I actually start with today's agenda, I wanted to give you a heads up. So previously I did actually two videos on Azure Container Registry. In this video I talked about what is Azure Container Registry, the prices. In here I basically build and push a Node.js application using Docker commands. If you didn't see my videos, please go ahead with these two videos. I'm pretty sure you're gonna learn quite a bit of it. So in today's video, I'm going to make this video a little bit more interesting. So as you can see here, I'm going to create a resource group. Make sure that you have an account in Azure. You are logged in. Okay, then we are gonna create a resource group. Resource group basically nothing but a logical container in which you could put your Azure resources like virtual machines, Kubernetes stuff, container images, keyballs, and whatnot. And we are gonna create a container registry. So this is what we have seen in my previous videos, right? And we are going to create a Docker container image, and then we are going to enable the admin account. This is something I didn't show you. By the way, whenever you create a registry in Azure, by default the admin account is disabled. So today I'm going to show you how to enable it and how to do stuff with it. Why do you actually need account is because whenever you try to push to your container registry, you need to authenticate, right? So there are many ways in Azure. For example, Active Directory, currently it is called Entra. You could use service principal, you could use token, right? You could use managed identity. Right. On top of this, there is another one called admin account. This is something people do not really talk about much. This is not something you should be doing in a production system. But in this video, I'm going to talk about it just for learning purposes. I have a Django project right here. It does nothing except showing you hello world when you browse to localhost on a particular port. I'm going to show you how this application runs. I showed you as far as I remember in my previous videos as well. So I'm gonna use the same code base still for this video. And after that, we are going to deploy this image to a container instance. This video is going to be pretty much hands-on. And if you don't have experience with Azure, don't worry. If you follow me along in this video, I'm pretty sure you're gonna learn quite a bit of it. So first of all, I'm going to show you how this application works. So let me show you what is actually in here. So if I go back to Docker file, let me close this one and this one too. And in between, I have written the Docker file right here. So this is in pip-env. Basically what it means, it is in the virtual environment. So if I actually run this straight from my computer without getting into this Docker file, how to run it? So let me show you Python 3.9 and manage.py run server. So if I now run this, is going to run on port 8000, not in this particular port. So let me run this. Okay, so this particular application can be accessed. So if you go here, you can see this is a test. Viewers, we are testing how traffic is split. All right, so if I run this from here, how to do that? So it is already written here. So I'm gonna run the same way, 3.9. This is the version I'm gonna use, manage pi, and then run server. And in here, so basically for any IP addresses on your network, and 8080. So if I now enter, well, this project I did not touch almost for a year, I guess. So I'm gonna press allow, and after that I'm going to act through the browser accessing this particular application. So you can see the request is 200. So this is what it does, the application. So that is that. There are many ways you could do stuff. So if I go to resource group and I could just create these, and here I could say tag with Pfizer, and this region is going to be East US, and I can just go ahead and create. Okay, so if I create it, it's going to create the resource group. So in this resource group, I'm going to use the container registry. Something you could also use using CLI command as well. So if you run AZ group create and you name your resource group, so the name is going to be, let's say, test. I'm just putting a dummy one, and location is going to be East US. Yes, East US. If I just run this right now, you should be able to create it. So let's give it a try. Okay, I had a mistake right here. Go to location and I type in again, you can see it got created. So if I now go ahead and refresh the page, I should be able to see test. You can see I'm going to delete it through AZ command because I feel more comfortable with this. So AZ, then you have to say group. Before that you have to say you want to delete it. So in here you want to say test and enter. You should be able to delete it. Once it is deleted, we could get started with the actual resource creation. Okay, so it should be pretty quick. Let's wait for it. Okay, so this is gone. Let us go here and then let me do the preview. I'm logged in. As you can see, I'm using pay-as-you-go subscription. I created a resource group, so I want to create a container registry. Here I could say container registry, type in right there and enter. So if I create a registry, you can see resource group. If you have not created from the resource group itself, you can create right here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to select it, the right one, and I'm going to say tag with Pfizer, be okay, STUS, and I'm going to go basic for the time being. Okay, standard should be okay. In my previous video I showed you the standard, but here I'm gonna go with the basic. So let's go ahead and create the registry. So if I go to container registry, you can see my resource group, and under here I should be able to see the container registry. It's in deployment got succeeded. So if I refresh, I should see that. Not yet. Okay, got succeeded. As I can see, deployment name is this one. Okay, so what I could do, I could go here and say, okay, tag with Pfizer is created under this resource group. You can see location is US, subscription type pay as you go. We are going to create a container image out of this project. So in our case, we have done so far until here. The next step is creating a container image. So AZ ACR, let's go for the help. And I want to do a build. So Q is a quick build. So let's do a build. AZ ACR build my registry. Let's say registry. So if I go here, I should be able to see that. So tag with Pfizer is Azure CR. So I could actually call this ACR. So export ACR equal this. So it's gonna be easy for me. So here we could just say build dash registry, and we are gonna call this time this variable ACR. Let's call it hello version 1, or let's call latest, doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to put a dot. This dot command means that this on this particular location, right now I'm in web app, you can see web app. In here I have got this Docker file. So where is my Docker file? Docker file is basically right here. So it's in the current directory. I'm going to build it. So now you can see I'm not running a Docker build command. Instead, I'm actually using AZSCR build command to build this particular image. This is something I did not show you in my previous video. You can see now it's going through each of those layers. Alright, so you can see it's right here. Let me close this. It is actually here, right now. Installing the packages should be pretty quick. Okay, so it's pplug file, and now 2 more layers to go. Okay, now we are pretty much done with this image. So you're building the image right now. If you go to the ACR, you'd see this is where our particular hello is. You can see, look at this. Okay, so if I now click here, you can see you can pull the image just like that. So what has happened using this command, this is the platform Linux AMD 64, but if you are using platform ARM, for example ARM 64, you need to make sure that you use the platform plug. In this case, you need the Docker command. So here you can see my image is already pushed right here, right? We have already verified the image is already stored in Azure ACR. If you want to run some command, repository like list, name is going to be ACR, output this in certain way if you want, like table or something, you can see already is there. So if I wanted this to be output like as a table, it's going to show you as a table. If you want to go as a JSON, it's going to show you as a JSON. Alright, so now we are going to deploy this particular image to Azure Container Instances. So if we search by Container Instances, in this video I'm going to show how you could deploy your container image to Azure Container Instances. So first of all, we are going to click on Create a Container Instance, and in here we are going to select Tag with Azure, and I'm gonna call it ACI, just a dummy name, and standard and confidential. I want to go by the standard. And if you look here, the moment I choose Azure Container Registry, it's telling me that, hey, I need to enable admin user. Otherwise, ACI cannot talk to Azure Container Registry. So meaning that the authentication cannot be established. Therefore, I need to enable the admin user account. So let's go ahead and do that. AZ CLI command one more time. AZ ACR. Our ACR enable admin enabled. This time we're gonna say true. So if you say true, it's going to enable the admin account by default. So the admin account by default is disabled, okay? Remember this. So we are going to enable this. So we are gonna say AZ ACR credential, and we want to see the credential show. I'm going to show it to you. So the name is going to be ACR. So here you can see the credential. I should not be doing that, but I just wanted to show you for the video. So you got two passwords. Password 1 is this one, password 2 is this one. So you could authenticate using this, and I'm going to show you the use cases right now. So this has been enabled, and I have to actually come back one more time because it doesn't update it right away. So I'm gonna say ACI, just the name, and then Azure Container. This time it is not complaining anymore. The hello image is already available in my container registry. If you have many, then it's going to suggest which one you want to use. So if you click here, you're gonna see list of container images available under your registry. So the image tag, if you have multiple, is going to be the same case. It's gonna show you drop down list from where you can select the appropriate one you want to deploy. And here the size of the container instance. So by default it chooses this, but I want to narrow down the memory because memory can be set to 1 GB. You can see here 1 to 256, and maximum core you can have 32. GPU I don't need, so I'm okay with that. Gonna press the button. Okay, so the OS type is going to be Linux. So if you don't know what is Azure Container Instance, the description is right here. Azure Container Instance allow you to quickly and easily run containers on Azure without managing servers, meaning that you do not have to maintain any underlying virtual machines or having to learn new tools. Everything is managed by Azure. You just say what kind of specification you would need, right? Everything else is taken care by Azure. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to review and create, and you can see the port is actually exposed 80. At this point you can see here, and it gives you a summary. I'm gonna create this button. Once it is ready, I should be able to see stuff in here. It's gonna take less than a minute. I wanted to tell you something. This port 8080 is not going to work because the port 80 by default is enabled, so I need to make a change. But before I make the change, I want to show you how to debug it, okay? So that you can learn something today in this video. So I'm not expecting this one to work. And how to debug it, I'm going to show you just in a bit. So now if I go here, you can see status is still pending, it's not running yet. Let it go to running status. Should go pretty quickly. It says that deployment is succeeded. So if I click here, I can see the status is running right now. So you can stop this particular container instance. If you don't want to run it, you can stop it, you can restart, you can delete. So you can do quite a lot of operations. So that one I'm actually interested in this particular option, which is containers. Right here, if you look here, it says container is started. So it means that there is nothing wrong with the container. Container image was pulled successfully, as you can see, and there is only one container instance running because I'm not running more than one. And if I look into the properties, it says port 80, but my application is exposed to port 8080. So we are going to see some problems. As you see here, you can see the container actually is running. So the application inside the container is running. How? I'm not gonna connect it. This is a proof, right? This is why in the beginning of this video I showed it to you. Okay, but this is not exposed. How do I know? Is because I already saw in the summary the port is not exposed. So now if I go here to this particular address, you can see it's not gonna work. Trust me, it's not gonna work. And if you go to the log, if you go to containers and you go to log, you can see no request is coming in, right? Because it doesn't know. So if I now go here, you can see still it's not working because this port is exposed within the container but not outside of the container. To make sure, I remove this port number just like that, and I do a build command one more time and deploy again. To bear with me. So this is how you can debug things. Alright, so we can see this image is pushed to container registry, right? And we said that the tag is going to be latest, like this is the one tag. And now if I go ahead, let's do this. What is the IP address correct? Okay, let's go ahead and do this. It's still not working. So what I have to do, I need to do a restart. So let's do a restart. So that is going to pull the container image one more time. And this time we expect this application to work. Once we browse to this IP address, there is no fully qualified domain name at this point. We don't care about it. This is just a demo. So let's go ahead with this and let's go to the log and see what is happening at this point. Refresh. It says that the state is waiting. So the container is not up and running yet. So you can see successfully restarted container instance. So if I do refresh one more time, it says running. So this time, so if I now browse here, you can see I can access my application. You can see I can access my application. So this was the issue, is because the port was not exposed for the outsider. Now I do not need this, so I want to, you can see here, and if I go to the log, you can see I just got a request with 200. So from within the container, we can see the log and we can verify that our application is working perfectly. Alright, so let me show you something else. So I did deploy this particular container from the browser using the UI. Now I want to actually use the admin credential. So if I want to do this, how could I do this? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run this particular command. I wrote it in front of me so that I don't spend much time. So the research group, we can say tag with Azure, and the name is going to be ACI, let's call it CLI, and then the image is going to be, okay, so the image is going to be this. So let me fix it. I call the whole thing hello, just like that. We don't need the latest. And registry login server is going to be, we want it to be public, we want it to be East US. And then the registry, this time we are using the admin credential. So admin username, which was tag with Pfizer. Okay, we got the credential. So here is the credential. Okay, let me pass the credential. So location is going to be that, and then registry password is going to be this. Okay, which is the admin password. So now if I enter, I'm going to create another container instance with the same image. Command is going to use the registry username, which is basically the admin username, and then the password. So if I now enter, and if everything goes properly, it should create a container instance in Azure. So let's see how it works. So the name is invalid, so we could get it fixed. So let's go to, let's call it CLI instead. So the image is not basically accessible. So now we need to know what is happening in here. Login server is going to be this. Okay. This is not correct. It's because the admin credential I never generated. This is why it didn't work. So show name ACR credential, because the credential is actually different. I was wrong, sorry, because I created multiple times, therefore the credential was wrong. So now if I try with this, it should work. So let's go ahead with this, and then the username is the same. So now if I try this, it should work. You see, this is working. It's because I created like 3 or 4 times and I completely forgot I copied the wrong old credential. Now, once I used the correct credential, I'm able to talk to Azure ACI, and ACI is able to talk to Azure Container Registries. And now it is actually deploying a container instance. So if we go back to ACI, Container Instances, if I go here, you can see this has been created and the application is in pending state. The moment it goes to running, we will be able to access it. So if I go here and it says it's running, I should be able to access it. So now you can see I'm able to access it. So this is what I wanted to show you today. Thank you very much and talk to you soon. Bye bye. If you didn't subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe.